Welcome. Welcome to the Power of Love Summit. My name is Scott Schwenk, and I'm delighted to spend some time together with you today, practicing receiving nourishment and love. The more we experience receiving nourishment and love in ways that are healthy and uplifting and empowering, the easier it is for us to give. And not just to give, but to actually give in ways that the others we're giving to receive best. Over 8 billion plus people on the planet. There's so many varieties of giving and receiving love. Physically, emotionally, intellectually, socially, and so on. So as we become more resourced by nourishing ourselves with love and grounding, we have an easier time noticing the differences about how the different people in our life best receive love, and we adapt. And we become more available to know how we're best at receiving love in a particular time, place, and circumstance, and are able to articulate that in ways that feel like an invitation for the other person rather than a demand. Take a deep breath with me and let go on the exhale. As you let go, just have the feeling of relaxing the whole body as you exhale. Beautiful. A little background on me, just so you know who you're interacting with if we're meeting for the first time. I've been practicing and teaching and supporting and facilitating for well over 30 years, practicing a lot longer than that. At this recording, I'm 52. I lived in an ashram, a meditation monastery, training full-time for the better part of 3 years in my 20s, and have had a number of very long mentorships in meditation, in working with business cultures, in facilitating group work, in working with Vedic rituals, in working with tantric training. What do I mean by tantric training? That's a new phrase for some of you. Well, Tantra is actually a very precise technology for transformation. And it actually has next to nothing to do with the popular notions about sexuality. That said, as we become more coherent, as we embody more wholeness and love, we're more nimble and clear and articulate and clever and sensitive at anything we do, whether that's involving relational sexuality or cooking food that we've never made or making art that we've never tried. So I just want to clarify that a little bit, because Tantra is the main source of much of my teaching. 2 streams of Tantra, Kashmir Shaivism and Sri Vidya. You don't need to remember that. There won't be a test. The main things I want to keep very simple here as we explore are the importance of releasing tension and tuning into, becoming receptive to being nourished by wholeness, the force of wholeness that's everywhere, hidden in plain sight. A little bit more just about me to help you with some background. So, majority of my work centers around several things, 3 things in particular. 1, master coaching with high-performance individuals, people who are up to helping others in this world, whether that's through business in the C-suites, whether that's as a facilitator of so-called healing or therapists and things like this, or leaders of group work. So master coaching one-on-one and mentorship along a lot of lines of development. The next lens of my work is creating and teaching courses for waking up, growing up, cleaning up, showing up. And those tend to be on online platforms, although I do have in-person retreats and trainings and workshops. The majority of my work the last number of years since the COVID experience has been creating courses online for my own platform, scottschwenk.com, unity.com, which is international, younity.com and in translation, and onecommune.com. So that's a little bit about that. And then the third lens that's less often, but I love doing it, with willing businesses, working with business cultures to help that culture upshift to have a better time with each other in the process of working together. And the culture, the more clear and coherent the culture is in its ability to get along, work together, collaborate rather than just cooperate, the more it's able to deliver on its mission with greater ease, grace, and nimbleness. And so you can find out more about me simply by Googling or watching one of my many free YouTube videos. Let's get into the work, okay? So, very few people that I know, especially men, are comfortable sitting for long periods of time, actually, if we're honest, on the floor. If you're going to sit on the floor, make sure, please, that you've got enough cushions under your butt that your hip points, the top of your hips, are higher than your knees. This preserves the curve in your low back. If this doesn't happen, then the muscles start to fire to try and straighten out your back, which becomes discomfort and more thinking. So there's no more and no less wakefulness sitting in a chair than there is on the floor. And I'm sitting in a chair, and I love sitting in a chair, and I embrace sitting in a chair, and I invite you to consider sitting in a chair. So if you are in a chair, both feet, please, are flat on the floor. So here in the Wisdom of Love Summit, we're exploring dimensions of love, and there are so many dimensions and flavors of love, like facets on an infinitely shining diamond of consciousness. And we're just going to focus on a few today. In particular, we're focusing on the experience of filling up, of nourishing any areas of our being, physical, emotional, intellectual, and social, that have felt some sort of deficiency about love. When we're deficient in love, we can knowingly or unknowingly engage in grasping, chasing, and clinging, which kind of pushes people away. And sometimes more than kind of. What's it like to feel grasped at? Those of you who've had that experience. Maybe a lovely person, but when somebody's in grasping, they're in fear, they're in deficiency, and they come at us with a lot of force, what do? We move back. And for the person who feels deficient, it just feeds their old story that there's something wrong with them. There's nothing wrong with any of us. We just have an opportunity to get more familiar with love, to recognize that love is already everywhere, and that there are tools and practices that we can engage in daily and throughout the day that can fill us up and help dissolve the old wounds of childhood, of feeling misattuned with, unseen, unheard, mismatched with how giving and receiving flow best for us. Take a deep breath with me once again, and you're going to breathe up through the soles of your feet, all the way up to above the top of your head, like you're filling up a vessel. And then you're going to let go as you exhale. We're going to do this throughout our time together, letting go in all directions. And as you let go of the breath in all directions, see what you can soften. And by soften, you can see what I'm doing with my hands if you're watching visually. Imagine going from tight, closed fists to letting those hands just open all the way and become soft. You make it up that it's easy to do this with your whole body as you exhale in all directions. Get playful with this, and you can watch this as many times as you want. Keep practicing. The more you practice, the easier it gets. If I can do this, you can do this. I'm as ordinary as dirt. The difference between you and me, perhaps, is the will to practice and the follow-through on consistent practice. So much is available right here, right now. Inhale up through the feet. Let go as you exhale. If it's too much energy for you exhaling through the mouth, then inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. That'll slow it down. If you want a stronger experience, inhale through the mouth and exhale through the mouth. These are 3 different forms of breathing. I take you through all of this when I teach what I call the Soma sessions. So this is really a short introduction to that way of working. The Soma sessions are something I've designed to help us to release tension. Tension is the only thing covering up our innate true nature as wakefulness and love, and so much more. The only thing is these layers of tension that we know about and that we've forgotten about that are in the unconscious that obscure our view. It's like putting on colored glasses. They change our view. They don't change reality, they change how we see reality. And we've had so many experiences throughout our lifetime of emotion getting stimulated, but it wasn't a safe or supported time or place to digest the emotion. It got stored in the body as shortened breath and tightened tissue that many of us end up forgetting about. So, doing soma work is really a way to lovingly meet ourselves. Let the body show us where it's holding any tension. Meet that tension and layer by layer, digest it and let it go in the space of love. But we must begin with safety and protection. This is the first pillar in forming healthy attachments and relationships. Safety and protection. And that may be even new for you to consider. It may even bring up emotion. So if you need to pause this video at any time to have a tissue or just put a hand on your chest lovingly the way an enlightened, loving parent could, please do that. Please do that. You are worth it. There's a lot packed into this short video, a lot of energy. And I want you to be able to digest it at a pace you can handle. So that may involve pausing from time to time and then rewatching. So just sense below the building you're in, or perhaps you have the good fortune to be outside watching this. Below you is the living, breathing, conscious earth. And it is pulsating with endless, unconditional love, whether you've yet experienced that or have experienced it many times. It's here and it is now. Begin by pressing your feet just a little bit at a time into the floor. Feel the solidity of the floor. This floor is connected all the way, object to object, to the living, breathing solidity of the loving, nourishing presence of the earth below you. Press your thighs and buttocks and sits bones into your seat a little bit in the same way. Feel the solidity of the chair. And know and trust and explore this is your connection, like your roots down into the living, breathing solidity of the loving presence of the earth, here and now. Continue pressing down, feet, thighs, buttocks, sits bones, small movements. And let your breath flow. You're inhaling up through the soles of your feet. And that's you saying yes to receiving from this mothering, loving, awakened presence of the earth below you. Your inhale is your yes. Yes, please, and thank you for loving me and not requiring anything of me other than my receptivity. Yes. So you're inhaling up through the soles of your feet. And as you exhale, you can send any tension you're feeling layer by layer gently, as well as the energy of busy mind down into the earth where it can be transformed. The way compost takes old scraps of food and other things together and transforms it through the elements into life-giving soil. The earth does this. So as you exhale, you're releasing, you're letting go, and you're softening whatever you can soften in your body, letting go of tension down into the earth. And this great Mother Earth is transforming it. And as you inhale, she's offering you love, a nest of love that you can sink into a little bit deeper and a little bit deeper, sinking into being held in the safety and protection. Now I'm breathing a little faster than may be comfortable for you, so you can slow it down. I'm breathing in a way that's conducive to where I am in the moment. And you may like to go even a little faster. Explore, play. When you bring playfulness, there's more room to discover, taste things that are unfamiliar, notice things that haven't been noticed. So we've been breathing for a little while here, softening, and I want to enhance the experience with you by encouraging you to more deeply soften the soles of your feet and the palms of your hands, like you're opening imaginary fists with your mind. This is going to make it even easier to feel the support of the love nest that the earth is offering you right now to sink into even more. Check in. How are you noticing your experience so far? Is it through seeing? Is it through hearing? Is it through feeling in some way? Sensation. Perhaps you're feeling tingling or vibration or pulsation. Perhaps you're feeling stillness more than you're used to. Everything is allowed. How are you noticing? Keep breathing. If you're noticing that the breath is highlighting and helping you to find an area of tension that the body's been storing, so you're receiving the support of the earth, you're pressing down with your feet, buttocks and thighs and sits bones into the chair to feel that supporting, loving nest from the earth holding you. And then you're really more focusing on letting go of hands and feet and feeling the region. Where is the region of holding in your body that you're working with? Is it in your chest? Is it in your abdomen somewhere? Is it in the pelvis? Is it in your throat? Be with where it is, not where you think it should be. Wherever that sensation is. Breathe in. And you're breathing in your love and nourishment, and you're breathing in the earth's love and nourishment, and you're letting go as you exhale. And you're bringing your awareness around the region. And if you don't have a particular region, do it with your whole body. You're holding the region or your whole body in your awareness like you would lovingly hold a baby or a puppy. And if you're not a dog person, maybe it's a kitty or something else of your choosing that invokes the feeling of unconditional love, where it's easier to feel that love. And you're not holding too tightly, like you wouldn't want to crush the infant, or too loose where the infant doesn't know you're there. So you're modulating, you're adjusting, you're exploring, you're playing. The wisdom of love comes online as we become filled up with love and we release tension. This wisdom is just naturally going to unfold. We don't need to chase it. We don't need to over-intellectualize. It will naturally unfold. How will it unfold? Sometimes it's sensation. Sometimes it's words we hear inside. Sometimes it's just a knowing. Go here instead of there. Turn left now. Just a knowing, an inner feeling of guidance. Infinite flavors. Inhale deeply. Let go as you exhale. And let your breathing become natural and soft now. Let's just check in and see where we are, where you are right now with the process. If you like, lightly close your eyes if they have been open. And what are you noticing? If you're feeling at all uncomfortable, root your feet into the floor a little bit more, your sits bones and your thighs and your buttocks into the chair. Feel the holding, the solidity of the earth so that you can let go of your burden. It's been well said that deep awakening, ever deeper awakening, can feel like putting down a burden. Wakefulness is already here, everywhere, in all particles of existence. It will naturally do what it knows to do, reveal itself as we release tension, holding, grasping, clinging, and chasing. As we become nourished from the inside with love, we're able to recognize actual love. We're able to adjust our behaviors to meet the styles of those we're interacting with without compromising our own. we're able to find reciprocity with greater ease and nimbleness and grace. So we're going to do movement 2 now with the breath. So if you're really full and you've got enough to work with right now and you're not ready to go a little bit further, then pause the video here and come back to it when you're ready, however long that takes. And those of you who are ready, so we've begun with part A, receiving from below. Breathing up the loving, nourishing presence of the earth, the nest that we've been sinking into of the living, breathing, conscious earth. There's another force of love that has different flavors and qualities that we're going to work with right now, and that's breathing down from above. And that can feel very, very different. Where are these two regions meeting today? In the heart center. About 3 to 5 finger widths inside the center of your chest, the cave of the heart. You could have the feeling of them meeting like a swirl, like the yin-yang sign, if you're familiar with that. 2 teardrops of opposite color and tone swirling. They're actually one, but they're showing us how the many can have individuality and yet be connected as whole and one at the same time. When we connect with love, it doesn't delete our individuality. That's unskillful. It includes it. So there's a place where we're all one, and there are places where we have our uniqueness, and it's all included when love is true and universal and expansive. So, without trying to do both movements at the same time right now, above and below, just now tuning into inhaling from above, down the crown of the head, down through the neck, into the heart cave, exploring what that quality of love feels like. It's unconditional. Perhaps you notice qualities of different light, temperature, sound, texture, or something else. So you're inhaling down this, we'll imagine it today as a golden nectar, like a raining down of a golden light, like raindrops of golden light. Every drop is universal love from the source of existence itself, flowing down without you having to spend money on it or beg for it or do something. All you need to do is soften the body and let yourself receive it, like going out of doors to receive the rain. If you've ever had the desire to do that on a hot day, you know it's raining, just take your shirt off and run outside. Just receive it. Just receive it. As you inhale, you're receiving it. It's filling you up. And the overflow is going out to all beings, but only the overflow. You're fully receiving first as you inhale. As you exhale, you're able to send any tension up to this endless, supportive, conscious source that can alchemize it, transform it, similarly to the way the earth did moments ago. A few breaths like this. Letting go on the exhale. Inhaling. Letting go on the exhale. And now just slow the breath. Freshly soften the soles of your feet and the palms of your hands like you're opening imaginary fists with your mind. Make it up that it's easy. And even though you're breathing naturally now, however the body decides to breathe, these energies are still flowing into you. The loving nest of the earth infusing you from below up through your feet, up through the pelvic floor, up through the spine, up through the central channel. And from above, flowing down through the top of your head, And there's this mingling and swirling in the heart cave where they meet these two dynamic qualities that hold infinite other qualities of unconditional love, presence, and wakefulness swirling. And it just continues to build and overflow and build and overflow. And the overflow is uplifting all beings that you're connected with and beyond. And you're just infused with every breath. As you inhale, you receive a little more deeply into every crevice and corner, even the ones you've forgotten about. As you exhale, you release tension known and hidden. Just let yourself be here receiving and letting go, and receiving and letting go of this infinite, inexhaustible love. And lastly, perhaps you're ready to have a glimpse, a taste freshly, that ultimately this love that's been infusing your body and your emotional body, subtle body, actually is you. You have never not been one with this love. We've just forgotten and gotten involved, like going to bed and having a very complicated dream that we get very involved with. The alarm clock goes off. We wake up and we see this was just a dream, and we're back to reality. Well, the reality is that you and love have never been separate, never can be. And we do the inner work to recognize this more deeply and embody this more deeply. I invite you to keep watching this as many times as you're willing and keep working with these practices. And as you get more familiar, perhaps you do them on your own for a longer period of time. When you complete this practice, whenever you feel done, just sit in silence for a little while. Make sure you're really grounding it all the way into your feet. Take time to once again freshly press into the ground, the floor, before you go attempt to drive or do that next meeting or phone call. You're worth it. I love you. You have no vote in the matter. And this loving you is not based on personality or person. It's by being filled with love and recognizing that same love is moving through you. So when I say I love you, it's really I recognize the love that you are as the love that I am, that we are. May we be happy, may we be well, may we feel loved. May the fruits of our inner work uplift all beings as well as the earth. May it be so, and so it is. I look forward to working with you soon. Enjoy.